TNA is offering 3-year contracts to many of its key wrestlers on the roster, with 1 year guaranteed and the final 2 years renewable at the discretion of management. TNA is not offering medical benefits, and pay is not guaranteed if wrestlers are injured inside a TNA ring. Roddy Piper's fucking fuming.
He's going to cut a really weird promo about it.
With TNA moving back into the national spotlight in October, management wants to lock up important wrestlers who WWE may want to try and swoop in and take, and add to their roster as a preventative measure against TNA. As reported last week, Monty Brown has been working without a contract, and neither side was able to negotiate a deal this past week. So is Six-Pack Sean Waltman. Why did PW Torch call him Six-Pack here? He's just called Sean Waltman.
He was announced as Six-Pack Sean Waltman during the episodes.
No, it's all JB's fault. If we didn't be able to... I thought you couldn't hear JB.
Well, I made note of it because I was like, oh, that's interesting that they're calling him Six-Pack Sean Waltman.
Brown is one wrestler WWE may be interested in once TNA debuts on Spike TV because of his impressive size and ability to talk. Also, he's a good wrestler. He's also a good wrestler, guys.
People really undersell that fact.
He does pounces and it's fucking awesome.
Just because he's not doing your 40-minute Ring of Honor main event.
There is some belief that Waltman may have stepped up his performances the previous 2 pay-per-views to show WWE that he's capable of performing at a high level inside the ring. Other than issues regarding arriving to pay-per-views and TV tapings at the designated time, he has no behavioral issues with TNA management.
I'm sure that won't come into play. Foreshadowing.
It's so funny that exact line was in the Torch this month. And there's like a lot of Sean Waltman contract negotiation stuff where they're going back and forth, and they thought they had him signed to a deal, but obviously then shit happened. Wrestling agent Barry Bloom has been presenting Mick Foley and Kevin Nash as a package deal to TNA during negotiations. Monty Brown may have also been part of that mix. Nash is advertised for Bound for Glory in October, including being featured on posters. He has not yet signed a long-term contract with TNA, but did agree to work the October pay-per-view and one TV event leading up to it. And T. Ortiz is expected to debut as part of TNA Impact, or return, I guess, as part of TNA Impact when it debuts on Spike TV, which makes sense to tie in with the UFC.
Yeah, that's good co-branding for Slam and Saturday nights.
And TNA officials are trying to reach Sting and hope to eventually bring in Bret Hart for at least an appearance or 2. Waltman has not signed his contract with TNA. The 2 sides were working out a number of problems that came up in negotiations, but a revised contract has not been presented to Waltman yet for him to sign. We'll talk about some of the issues he had in a second, or later when we talk about him no showing Unbreakable. But he had some issues with some of the terms in the contract, and then I wonder, like, because Waltman is as like Triple H a guy as you get. I wonder, was there like a little bit in his ear?
Well, if it was in his ear, I hope he responded back, but then get me my fucking money.
That's true.
Listen, I'm glad that we're pals and we're friends, but like, you know, one of these options will get me paid.
TNA management requested Kevin Nash attend Sunday's Unbreakable pay-per-view in order to be introduced to Spike TV executives. They're rolling out Nash to like swoon the executives, which is actually a really good move.
Yeah, of course. That man can swoon everything. He's one of the most charming individuals in pro wrestling.
Nash finished at the top of a focus group study Spike TV did to rate the recognition factor of various wrestlers, some of whom are on the roster and others who are not. He did attend and was said to appear to be in great shape. He left the pay-per-view early to fly to California for some movie commitments. He will return in time for the September TV taping and the Spike TV debut, but has not yet signed a long-term contract, as said. Part of the reason Waltman no showing Unbreakable was such an issue was they also wanted to roll out Sean Waltman, and he was not there.
He was not available to be rolled out.
Yeah, so Kev had to do like 40% more swooning, which he is capable of. 3 TNA wrestlers suffered injuries coming out of sacrifice into TV tapings that are keeping them out of the ring for a short time. Styles, Sabin, and Shelley. Styles suffered a knee injury in his match against Samoa Joe. The severity of the injury is not yet known, but he didn't wrestle on TV. So if you're wondering why AJ didn't wrestle on TV this month, that is why. He did make a run-in during a couple of segments. Sabin suffered a serious jaw injury on the TV tapings. The injury occurred during Sabin's final match at the tapings, which I guess is the Chris Candido Memorial Cup final. One eyewitness said Sabin was bleeding profusely from the mouth backstage after the match and needed extensive medical assistance. He was scheduled to appear for PWG, but was scratched because of the injury.
I did notice that he was bleeding.
Yeah, clearly Shocker is such a bad tag team partner that he destroyed Chris Sabin's mouth.
Oh, yeah. He's a bad tag team partner. Did you not see what happened?
There's a lot of bad tag team partners this month, given the whole premise of that
tournament.
It's
hilarious that in this tag team tournament, everyone hates them. Everyone.
And not only tag team tournament of which the very idea is like inspired by how Chris Candido was a mentor to so many young wrestlers. So they're putting the young wrestlers and old wrestlers together, and none of them get along.
Yeah.
Shelley suffered a back injury at the Impact tapings as well. Wrestled in a PWG tag, but then pulled out of Ring of Honor as a precautionary measure because of the injury. So a couple of TNA wrestlers banged up.
Damn. This is really bad for guerrilla radio.
TNA is considering breaking up 3 Live Crew altogether, and with all 3 men going their separate ways. TNA is planning to reunite BG James and Kip James down the road to form a team perhaps called the James Gang, or some variation of such.
That sounds like a great idea.
The move to have BG James help Conan and Ron Killings defeat Monty and Kip James at the baby was to give closure to one chapter of the storyline that went on a little too long. Once TNA debuts on Spike TV, the storyline is expected to head in a different direction. Cool. Oh yeah. Everything seems to be on the path of Jeff Hardy and Ron Killings as a tag team for the future, so it appears it all is smoothed
That's what
over
Ron
regarding
Killings was
Killings.
pitching a couple months ago.
Yeah, Killings is like, put me with Jeff, because he's like, Jeff will be pushed, so we'll have fun. I think Jeff ends up leaving before this can ever happen, but...
No. They would have been a cool tag team.
Killings didn't want to get lost in the shuffle if and when 3LK was broken up and had an argument with Jeff Jarrett. Arguably, he's been lost in the shuffle with 3LK being here, but...
Yeah, he's not like a focus of 3LKL. It's all been Conan and BG.
Jarrett didn't love the idea of him teaming with Hardy. It's basically guys looking out for themselves because everyone knows that no matter what he does, whether he gets over or not for political reasons, because they will still mark out for yesterday's news. This is, again, Dave editorial. Jeff Hardy's a star, Dave. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yesterday's news. He's like I guess he's not bigger than Kevin Nash according to the thing, but he's up there.
Yeah, but Hardy will always get strong. It's like, you're like, oh, for no reason whatsoever, they will give Jeff Hardy more leeway. It's like, there is a very big reason they'll give Jeff Hardy more leeway.
Yeah.
Conan is probably going to be okay with it as well, since they have approved bringing in Homicide, as Conan had requested, for a new Hispanic heel group that would also include Shocker and Apollo.
I wonder what that could be.
What could it possibly be? There is no way of knowing until sometime in early 2006.
Irish-Australian exchange.
Last week.
They're selling my great pitch for our new show.
51, 58, nothing to mess with. I don't know what like criminal code in Ireland is. I don't know if we even have numbers. I don't know. Liam is Googling the Australian criminal code right as we speak.
Section 12 of the Crimes Act 1900 ain't nothing to mess with.
With a Irish Australian I and A. I guess if you cross the A with your finger, that's an I and a sidewards I and an A. That's our hand gesture.
I'm doing it right now.
For the Irish Australian exchange. God, no one wants an Irish American exchange.
Except to end a famine.
All right. All right.
That's the best joke I've ever had.